these three processes, I think, are integral to being able to make sure that your customers are satisfied and that you're gaining the most knowledge you can about how your service could be better and making it better. Process documentation is great for this because if I get a customer complaint, as long as it's a valid, reasonable one, I could look at that complaint or that problem and I could figure out what caused it. So I could look to the scheduling process. I could look to the clocking hours process. I could look to the inspections and say, well, that customer was unhappy because we showed up late 2 times in a row. Why are the technicians showing up late? So I look at scheduling. So read into the complaint. Michael Gerber, for those of you familiar with him, he calls this fires burning. He calls it the key frustrations process. If you have a frustration about something, there's always a system or a process solution. A complaint should be a frustration. It's a fire burning. And if you don't put that fire out, if you just kind of put it out and then move on to the next thing because you're so busy, it's going to rear back up again and again and again. So by reading the process and deciding what is the real solution to this and adding that, creating that, you're saving yourself money because these fires that keep coming up over and over and over again, those are just costing you money and time and frustration. So this customer complaint process, this one is kind of built for a production company, but you can modify it and make it work if you have a service business as well. Just simply a step-by-step how you handle the complaint. The complaint comes in, what's the first, second, third thing you do? A script is integral in a process like this. What do people say and how do they say it? So you can have like a providing the solution script, a frequently asked questions, some kind of a form that gets filled out. So this is a custom form. You may have a production management software that already does this, some kind of a form where it's tracked and followed. Most important thing about a form like this is to capture the follow-through with it. So when the customer complaint comes in, what was the solution and how can we add that back into our processes? I'm going to go here to the dashboard just to demonstrate these three processes. So this is what I simplified the dashboard here and just created a customer service position. So if you have a customer service person and they were to log into TouchStone and it was all these processes were there for them, this is what it would look like. Very simple. When an employee is not an admin user, they don't even see the 4 key functions here. It just makes it easy and simple. It doesn't have this added complication of this, which is really done by an administrator or a manager. They could access the org chart, but they don't necessarily see the positions that they don't have access to. So when I click this control panel, then I go to my processes. So they're all organized nicely by different categories, and then I see here are the customer service processes. I'm just going to pull this to the top so you can see them. So if I'm a customer service person, I get a customer complaint, I can go here to this process. I can follow the work plans. If there's a custom form in it like this, I can fill this out. I can put this as the customer's name and save it. So this is someone using the dashboard to fill out this form and follow the customer service process. Reputation monitoring, it's the same idea. You can download all 3 of these processes from our process library. If I go to reputation monitoring, I see work plans here, which is how to set up monitoring software, how to do reputation monitoring, how to do reputation management. There's a checklist in here. So maybe once a week, it's my job to go and there's a list of free software right here that can help you manage your reputation online. So you could go to that and implement one of these software tools, and then you'll get notifications when people are putting in reviews about you. So maybe once a week, I have to go here to this checklist, and then I tick these boxes off as I do it, and I save it. So now my manager knows that I went and through the reputation monitoring checklist and reviewed everything. There's some guidelines here on customer interactions on social media. Here's a list of customer review sites that people might go to. This one's nice. It's examples of how to respond. So with the employees have to put a written interaction back to someone who's made a complaint or even said something positive, then they can have a list of that they can cut and paste from right here, like, if they want to use some of this text. And this is all customizable. It's stuff that once you download this process, you want to go in and actually customize and make your own. So it's important to look and see what's being said about you on the internet. And then have an employee who's responsible for checking that and then responding. I think it looks really bad when a company doesn't respond. Even if the customer is wrong, having some type of response, I think shows that you're being attentive towards it. So if a customer is complaining about something you've done or not done directly towards you, or they're putting it on the internet, then that gives you an opportunity to respond. What's bad is when the customer doesn't complain. I mean, if you really think about it, what's bad is when they don't complain, because then you never know and they just kind of go away. So there's this, inside of this process, there's some examples here just to kind of show the importance of this. I'm just calling this client satisfaction statistic examples. For every customer complaint, there are 26 other unhappy customers who have remained silent. The probability of selling to an existing customer is 60 to 70%. The probability of selling to a new prospect, 5 to 20. You understand the reason why making your customers satisfied and happy is so important. It's costing you money when you don't. This one I love. 96% of unhappy customers don't complain. However, 91% of those simply leave and never come back. I never do this because I think it's valuable for business owners to hear about my experience of them. A dissatisfied customer will tell 9 to 15 people about their experience. Around 13% of dissatisfied customers tell more than 20 people. You can imagine, and you can see what that's true. A cost is 67 times more to acquire a new customer than retain an existing one. So this is just the reasons why implementing a process or processes like this are so important. So with customer satisfaction, a process like this is meant to help you check in with your customers because of these statistics we just read. 96% of people just go away and don't say anything. But if you're calling them, then you might find out stuff that you didn't know about how your employees are handling things, how you're handling things, how it comes across. Surveys, this goes through a couple surveys, satisfaction surveys, and actually gives some surveys that you can use. Surveys are tough because a lot of people don't fill them out. A phone call is not that much time, and I think it's really worth it because of these statistics. How much money it's costing you to get a new customer and replace the one that you lost. Think about that. So given that, is it not worth somebody's time to pick up the phone and call a selection of customers, every customer, leave a message, hey, how did it go this week? Even if you offer a long-term service, how are things going for you? Especially if a project is over, calling them up and saying, how did it go? No, I want to hear about it. Tell me. If they say something negative, then you're back at one of these two processes. Customer complaints, where we're going to satisfy and handle it, or reputation monitoring, which these two things result in improvements to your business. But the other side is, if you call the customer and they're like, oh, everything was great, I love your company, I love your employees, then you ask for a Google review. You all know that organic SEO is driven to a large degree by Google reviews, particularly on Google. So if somebody's happy, why not have a 3-step process for them to do a Google review for you? So you're going to win either way with this by putting the time and attention into this You're going to win by learning what you can do to make things better, or you're going to win by getting positive feedback, testimonials from your customers. There's a custom form in here. It's called Client Satisfaction Survey. There's also examples up here in the work plans. So you can have an employee right here inside of TouchStone when they call, and some of you may have a CRM that you can already do this in, but if you don't, then you can do it right here in TouchStone. You can have a form like this, and this might be wrong, this form, but you can edit this and make it your own. So the employee calls the customer, says, how'd the job go? And then they fill out this form. If there's a complaint or something that needs to change, then you fill out that form of this message, and then it gets saved back to TouchStone. So then my manager, the customer service manager, or the service manager, whoever my manager is, would run a report, get a list of all of the satisfaction surveys for the week, and just review them. Either it resulted in a Google review, or it results in something that manager needs to change about the process. Those processes that I was just reviewing, they're in doing the business in the library right here. So every function has its own library. These three processes, which are related to customer service or client service, are here in this library. And you can download them there. That form I was showing you, these are the client complaints form here. If you want to edit that, you just click the form. So here we are in the custom form tool. And I can just click and edit any of this. So I could change this just by selecting it. I can delete that and make it something else. If I want to change this, I just click and you see it opens, and I can edit or change it. And then you can add new things, new multiple choice items, or you can add drop-down questions.